Hey there everyone, a new Tempest Trials is live. And of course that means we have a new free-to-play unit. So welcome to free-to-play comparison, where I am going to try and show you what the current free-to-play unit is and basically just what your other options are. And unfortunately this one's a little underwhelming. And I say that with the utmost respect. It makes me sad. I was very hopeful that Leo would be, you know, a good boy, and he is, I guess technically, but well, we'll see why. I feel like we got a little bit shortchanged on this one in just a second. So first and foremost, let's look at the skills that he has, because really, when a free-to-play unit comes across, we know that's pretty much what we're looking at overall. So first of all, the weapon that he's running is sandwiches. Exclamatory. It has an exclamation mark, so you have to say it excitedly. Which, if foe initiates combat, that's going to grant attack res +4 during combat. And that is, of course, a 5-star weapon. It is refinable. Your base refines between attack, speed, defense, res. So it's not really anything too fantastical. He's also got glimmer, but you know that's not necessarily anything too terribly special. In the A slot, we are looking at Distant Defense 3. So if this unit is attacked by a foe using bow, daggers, magic, or staff, unit receives defense res +6 during combat. Pretty good. And as we'll go over in the stats here, he's a little bit tanky, so that's pretty handy for him. And true to form in his natural state, he's got Quick Repose 3 as well as his B slot. So you can see that down there. So first of all, the sandwiches plus, right? I don't know that that's really necessarily anything too groundbreaking. So sandwiches, while the name is fun, it's not really anything that's going to break Ether Raids or Arena anytime soon for your bonus unit. Distant Defense 3 is kind of nice, but we do have a handful of units that already have it, including Base Silica. We've got Rajat, Micaiah, Performing Arts, Olivia, Garen, and newly acquired, the Lion King. I don't want to say the name because I've heard that subtitles get picked up and that bad things happen, so I'm not going to. But our only armored beast unit, Lion King, down there, Kane. We'll call him Kane. That's fine. He also has this defense, but he's actually got the notched up version. So what we're looking at here is we've also got it as a Sacred Seal. So Distant Defense, pretty available overall. We do have it on a free-to-play unit already, so that's definitely something worth considering. Garen is, of course, already available with Grails. Leo is not. It is still locked behind 5-star. And I believe Distant Defense 3 is also locked behind 5-star for Leo. Based on what I'm looking at Game Press, shout out to Game Press, I don't see that anything is inheritable at 4. I think everything is locked behind 5-star still, which is kind of disappointing, honestly. But Silica, you know, you don't really want to fodder off a Silica for it. You don't really want to fodder off any of these units for it, unless Kane, you know. You're going for the advanced defense, but Garen, of course, this is kind of like his claim to fame, I think, for the most part. Let me double check. Make sure I'm not giving you any bad information here. Overall, I would say that Leo's distant defense fodder potential is pretty decent. Again, he's not really readily available yet because he's not in the Grail pool, but soon, someday, soon. Yeah, because the only other skill that Garen has is Panic Ploy, so you don't want that. Panic Ploy lost its effectiveness a long time ago, unfortunately. So Distant Defense is really your main point of fodder for him. And I say that because his other option is Quick Repose 3, which, again, I also believe is, correct me if I'm wrong, locked at 5-star. So unless you're using your actual Tempest Trials unit, we're getting a 4-star and a 5-star for the rewards. You're going to have to spend some feathers to get more than one of these two things. The good news is that Quick Repose 2 is inheritable at a lot of different levels. For the 4 stars, mostly in Klein and Tsubaki. You can see it's a little bit crowded pool down there. But Klein and Tsubaki probably going to be your main providers of Quick Repose fodder for the most part. We've also got Flora, Deirdre, Dorcas is hiding back there a little bit. New Year, Hreed is also there, as with the Hoshiden Summer Festival Xander. And then, of course, regular Leo. Regular Leo has Quick Repose 3 as well. Everybody's at 5-star. Like, this isn't available at 4-star anyway. Again, it is a Sacred Seal, so you do have that option already. But ultimately, I think Tsubaki and Klein are probably going to be your primary functions of Quick Repose. The nice thing, I guess, is if you're trying to add both Distant Defense and Quick Repose to a unit, and you have a 5-star Luncheon Leo, you know, you can use Tsubaki or Klein to fodder off Quick Repose 1 and 2, because that's both available at the 4-star. And then you can use Leo to get your Distant Defense 3 and your Quick Repose 3 at the 5-star to the 1 unit. So you can kind of break it up, which is kind of nice. The downside is, you know, we're not really getting anything that's not already readily available for the most part. Again, Garen, you can get Distant Defense 3 with some feathers already in the Grail pool. Quick Repose 3, Tsubaki, Klein, pretty available. They're in the 3 and 4-star pool. It's going to cost you feathers one way or another. So ultimately, Leo doesn't really offer that much fodder potential, and his weapon isn't that fantastical either. So this one's just kind of a meh situation, unfortunately. And it pains me to say that, because I was genuinely hoping that we'd see something kind of cool. Now, that said, with the skills out of the way, let's look at the actual unit. Leo is a green tome cav, which is kind of neat. We have a handful of those already that are readily available. You can see them over here on the left side. There are some that aren't necessarily included in here. That being, you know, we have an Olin alt that I didn't include. The most recent Mist, I think, from Valentine's was also a green tome cav. So, you know, there are some other options too. I picked the 3 that were probably the closest in terms of stat line, in case you were looking. But overall, the most free-to-play friendly comparison is probably going to be Cecilia. But we'll get to her in just a second. So, Leo's packing 37 HP, 33 attack, 21 speed, 27 defense, and 28 res. Yikes. So he's very tanky, right? HP could be a little bit higher to kind of capitalize on that. But, you know, he's a free-to-play unit. He's not going to be busted. IS isn't going to do that. But 27 defense and 28 res is really, really nice. His speed's a little bit lower than maybe I would have expected. But in general, attack is probably about where I maybe would have expected it, given the other green tome calves that we do have. Although Lilina is quite higher, with a 2-point buff over Leo. And as you can see, based on the rankings, that 2 points does make quite a bit of difference. So Leo compares closest to Cecilia. Cecilia's got 36 HP, 32 attack, 25 speed, 22 defense, 29 res. I will say that the most differentiating thing about Luncheon Leo here, or Picnic Leo, he does have higher defense than the other green tome calves. Like, that's just kind of how it rolls. The closest would be Cecilia here with 22 defense. Everybody else is a little more res heavy. With, you know, most tome units are typically a little bit more res heavy. And Leo has kind of a nice balance. He's got res, but he's also got a lot of defense as well. So he's a bulky boy. So if you have a Cecilia, she's already plus 10. You know, you pulled a lot in the last 2.5-ish years that we've been in phase so far. You've pulled a lot of her. You got her plus 10 already. You're pretty well set. The BST difference of 2 points is not going to make or break it. Lilina, if you have a seasonal Lilina, the Love Abounds Lilina built up. She's pretty close too. Her attack is a little bit higher. Her speed's a little bit better. Her defense kind of pales a bit, and then her res is just a couple notches lower. But, you know, not really anything too differential there. You can see the attack, though, ranked 53rd compared to Leo's 33 attack, ranked 161st. That's obviously a pretty big difference. You know, 2 points just does make a difference in attack, unfortunately, when you're comparing stats like that. But again, if you have a good Lolina built up, because she is a fan favorite, she was a seasonal unit, so people typically tend to build up those kinds of units, you know, when and if they get them, and they're good IVs and such. The only differentiating factor here is, of course, Cecilia, you have the options of getting a good boon. The other ones you do too, but they're not as readily available. Leo's always going to have that that neutral IV set. And then we've also got Gunthra, who is a legendary hero. And legendary heroes are pretty good, don't know if you heard. But HP 37, attack 31, speed 33, defense 19, res 25. Of the units that I've got compared here, she has the lowest defense in comparison. 8 points is a pretty big difference. You can see 281 versus 180. Pretty big ranking in defense difference there. Attack is pretty close. She's quite a bit faster, though. So she's definitely got that going for her. And her res is a bit lower, but it's not anything that's, you know, earth-shattering by any means. So overall, I think maybe the biggest underlying factor there is going to be, you know, what do you have built already? Priority-wise, I would say Cecilia is definitely going to save you on Grails. And unfortunately, we've already got a lot of options for Leo's particular skills, so his fodder potential is pretty low as well. And it's just generally, it's a little underwhelming, honestly. It's sad, and it hurts me, but that's just the way that it rolls, I guess. Don't know. Either way, if you like Leo, you should definitely build him up. That's for sure a good way to roll, by all means. You should definitely do that. But I mean, if I don't know. It's disappointing. He looks cool. Casually dressed heroes are super dope, and extra tomatoes are, you know, always in season. So either way, you know, I guess if you're trying to pull for distant defense, or you've already used a lot of Garens for Grails, and you know your cost of grailing Garen is too high at this point, you know, you can use Leo. That's kind of a benefit, I guess. You'll get him for cheaper if you've already used some Garens, because the cost of Grails does go up the more times you summon a particular hero with Grails. Quick Repose, I don't know if you're light on fodder. There's that option too. You can also swap out his weapon. Like I just got a Lu, for example. I could give him Lu's weapon. There are some options there. He may be worth building, but base kit alone, you know, available options in Cecilia, I just don't know if it's ultimately worth it. But either way, you know, that's Leo. I will be getting him. I don't know that he's going to be a main priority right away, anyway, because there's a lot of green Cav units that are pretty good, and I don't know. I feel like anybody that's got a decent Gunthra already is probably just going to roll with Gunthra. But either way, that is Leo. He is your newest Tempest Trials unit, bringing all the tomatoes. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are in the comments down below. Are you going to build Leo up? I know he has a very specific fan base, and some people are very passionate about Leo, some people are not. So sound off in the comments. Always be polite, though. If you like Leo, build him. That's ultimately my advice. But either way, you're pretty well set otherwise. So in my opinion, I'm going to save the Grails. Don't really need any of that fodder right now, and the options are already present. So that's my hot take. You're welcome. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you like. I do a lot of Heroes content, and I do some general Nintendo here and there as well. But that's it for right now. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.